Hi everyone, my name is Dylan, and today I'd like to show you how to save, edit, and apply a logo that you've created with GoDaddy Studio. Now, in the last episode in the series, we took a look at how to design your own logo. Please check this out if you haven't already. And so the next logical step in the process is figuring out how to put your beautiful logo to work in the process of creating content. So let's jump back to our original design for this hypothetical barbershop called Slick. You'll see we have our logo here on a transparent background. If we switch to layers view, you can see we have all our various layers, text, graphics, and shapes all separate here. Can still make some final tweaks if I need to. But of course, now we're going to export this logo as one unified file. And to do that, we're going to navigate to the top right-hand corner to the export icon. And the most important thing you want to pay attention to here is export settings right at the bottom of the screen. Tap on that and it should be defaulted to PNG, but just check that it's not on JPEG or PDF. If you read below that, it says high quality with transparency. And that's really key here because you've created your design on a transparent background, as I advised in the last tutorial, and now exporting it as a PNG is going to maintain that transparency, which, as you'll see, becomes really, really useful. In fact, I would even say critical when it comes to working with your logo down the line. So that's done. I'm ready to export. I'm just going to save that. I'll save just this current page, and that's going to send that logo design to my photo library on my device. Now, just to reiterate the difference between a PNG and a JPEG when it comes to a logo, on the right hand side here is the exact same logo design that I've exported as a JPEG. You'll see it's the solid image file. It's exported with a solid background. So now I have this square shape competing with the circular shape, and I'm limited to the black and white color of the original. So that's going to be quite tricky to use, and it's going to pose quite a few challenges to me. Whereas if I look at the PNG version of that logo, you'll see that it's maintained its transparent background. And so already it's easy to see how much more practical that's going to be when it comes to applying my logo to another design. And the other big advantage, of course, of exporting as a PNG is that you are able to edit the color of your logo. So you can make it just about any imaginable color. And again, it's quite easy to see how useful that becomes and how many creative options that opens for you. Right, now let's take a look at how to retrieve your saved logo file. Now in this blank canvas, I'm going to just tap on the graphic tab right at the bottom menu tray. That will open up the graphics library. And if I scroll all the way to the bottom of this, you'll see that there is a logos folder. I'm just going to tap see all, and I can get an overview of some of the logos that I've designed and saved to my personal folder. And obviously tapping this plus icon in the top left-hand corner will enable me to add a logo to this folder. I'm going to search photo library because that's where my logo file is automatically saved to. And right at the top there, I can see my logo. I'm just going to tap it to add it to my logo folder. And from this point, I can simply tap on it to add it onto my canvas. At which point it's very easy to reposition or rescale. And as I mentioned in the last tutorial too, it's always a good idea just to make sure your logo works in black and white and black, primarily to make sure it's legible before you start moving on to different colors. And again, I showed you that because you've exported your logo as a PNG, it's now brought into your canvas as a graphic, which means you can change the colors, and you can of course change the colors of the background too to start playing around with different combinations for expressing your logo. And to do that, it's really useful to try out the themes tool, the bottom right here. If you just tap on that, and as I tap the palette that I've selected, bearing in mind this could of course be a saved palette that you have for your brand or any of these suggested palettes we have for you, simply tapping on that will cycle you through a whole bunch of different options for how your logo might start to look with color applied to it. In a similar vein with your transparent logo, you might want to try it out on some different backgrounds. It needn't be a solid color. For example, you could use a gradient like I've done here, or perhaps even see what your logo looks like on top of a photographic image. Which of course leads us to using your logo in things like social content that you're creating. Again, it's super easy. I'm going to tap on graphics all the way to the bottom to logos. I've already uploaded my logo, so I simply tap on that. pops it right onto the canvas. And then I might want to just play around with some different color options. And once I've done that, it becomes very easy to just position anywhere I'd like. And of course, adding your logo to any design that you've created really stamps your brand's unique signature on that post. So regardless of the type of content you're creating, it's always a good idea to start incorporating your logo, really developing an association with the content you're putting out and your brand's unique identity. And then of course remembering that your logo is the flag that your brand flies out there in the world. So it could be a lot of fun to start experimenting with what your logo might look like on physical objects like t-shirts, tote bags, coffee cups, and so on. We've got plenty of options for these in GoDaddy Studio. You could look for a t-shirt graphic or maybe a concrete textured background, for example, and then start to have a bit of fun with imagining what some slick barbershop swag might look like. It really is that simple, so try it out for yourself right now by downloading the free GoDaddy Studio app. All the links you need are in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and please remember to subscribe if you want to keep learning about GoDaddy Studio. I'll see you next time.